And good evening. Welcome to the Deltahead stream. I am James Howell, and tonight we're doing part 6 of Fatal Frame 4, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, the Fatal Frame whose development was sourced out to Grasshopper Manufacture. It was their first release after Killer 7. And in the most recent playthrough, we encountered a ghost who exhibited some very heaven smile tendencies. And in fact, the Fatal Frame gameplay is well suited to the kind of tension that Killer 7 develops, with your standing in one place and having your enemies sort of run towards you. But yeah, so we're going to pick that up. I think that we are probably 2/3 through the game. This easily is outside of the Village of Shadows run on Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil Village, I should say. This is easily the longest game on the stream to date. So, I think we're making as good progress as we can, because it's a slow-moving game and it's scary. So I'm a slower-moving player. But, let's see here. There is not much of a pregame show today, because just finding time to read has been troublesome. Finding time for music, however, has been a little bit easier to secure. I've been working on the Bach's Fugue number 2 in C minor from the first book of the Well-Tempered Clavier. And if you want to see what that looks like, I'm sure you can decode this in your head from the site. There it is. This right here, and this right here. This is something that I find to be achievable. It looks very complex, and of course it is. I have an extra advantage in the way that I'm approaching this, because I am not like a pianist trying to do it with both hands at once, which is what the exercise is intended to help practice. But I will be playing each of the different voices on a stringed instrument, and then layering one on top of a recording of the other. And that makes for a different kind of challenge. And I'm pleased with that. Other than that, I reacquired a Game Boy DS, Nintendo DS Lite. Have been playing back through Order of Ecclesia. An excellent game. This arrived in the mail, and I'm extremely happy for this. This right here. This is the Japanese release of the silver case, and I am delighted to see how the style of the original release lines up with with any kind of quality of life improvements or other interface changes for the remaster. But all that said, I think we can get going. So. And let me see something here. Curious. Weird. Okay. Oh, yeah, let me turn the music back on here. And, awesome. I also received word independently that Peacher is in attendance. Hello, Peacher. Let me pull up chat on the iPad here. I like this. My room has I've got another lamp over there, so the warmth, that I've typically had in this space has finally returned. I have traditionally liked my rooms to be well lit from the chin down when standing at full height. So this now achieves that, and I'm very happy. See, volume should be dropped. There we go. Excellent. Oh, that's scary loud. Evening, Dream Bombs. Good to see you. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if you caught this just a moment ago. This is relevant to your interest. This arrived in the mail today. And I'm very happy with this. This it contains, let's see, what do you contain? It has the sort of like case outline. It's got the transmitter placebo sort of case outline here as the insert with some documentation on it. And it also has, yeah, I was noticing that actually. Let's fold you back. There we go. That seems to work. I noticed that. I was looking at the manual here and see that there's a whole category of characters. I think perhaps these guys at the top that I don't remember being part of the cast. And yeah, so it's kind of wild that all that was included, pushed out with the manual, and never followed up on. Oh, really? Sundance is in this one, or Sundance was supposed to be in this one. That makes his appearance in Flower, Sun, and Rain a little more interesting. Oh, excuse me. I need to stop a cat from trying to destroy the rug between the hall and this room. There we go. And I was also interested to see, looking at some of the art on the cover. There is, among the art that they've sort of picked for the cover, there is the shot of Kusabi and Sumio sitting in the car during the stakeout of the house that gets blown up. And I'm pretty sure Kusabi's art in that might have been lifted directly for Flower, Sun, and Rain to show him sort of at Sumio's right in the airplane at the very end. Having seen that end game picture recently, it's sort of fresh in my memory. So when I saw that on the case, I was like, oh, that's a way to evoke the style of the silver case without having to hire someone to redraw it, because you're literally using the style. Okay, so I just took the elevator up here. This is my room. Oh, no thank you. Not going back there. And let's see. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is where I need to go. If they do a remaster of Flower, Sun, and Rain, that's very exciting. I'm really curious to see how they handle the PS1 level of polygonal character models that they have for everybody in the 3D universe. I feel like a jank aesthetic there might not fly as well with an audience expecting a remaster. I feel like it, similar to the way that No More Heroes frame rate drop, I feel like sort of captured its aesthetic quite well. Ooh, I'm not pleased with this. Captured its aesthetic quite well. The lo-fi aspects there, I think, help it. All right. So... what would you like me to look at here? Interesting. Alright, missing a gear. That is an uncomfortable set of sounds. So, yeah, I'm curious. Wait, so that makes me wonder then, did the PS2 version have music that wasn't just like renditions of public domain songs in it? Okay, maybe that blue light is indicating the that box right there. Oh. Okay, so this must be the room that I haven't been in yet. Of the two. Hello, evil doll. Did I already get you? I think I already got you. Bolero. Where in the game did that play? Gonna get me? No. Cool. Puzzle materials. Ah! Ah, Jesus! Oh, man. Oh, yeah, the rooftop. It's kind of got the, almost, Queen, We Will Rock You, and then it, has some sort of, yeah, when I think of Silver Case, I think of Gymnopedae, I don't know how to pronounce that, and that track. Those are the two. I think because you encounter them early on, and they, at least for Gymnopedae, Gymnopedia? Anyway, you hear it often enough that it's very closely identified with the game. And Bolero is very recognizable, very catchy. Kind of in the reason that We Will Rock You was very successful. You'll spawn right on top of me next, I bet. There you are. Get my power charged. Get him. Whew. Dang. That was good. Good fight. Who is Eric Satie? I'm sorry, I don't recognize the name. Oh, I remember there the DS version has some sort of poem that it appears to be like a spoken word thing that that plays during one of the opening cinematics. Oh, okay. Thank you. Whoa, what's that? Oh, that's just the light. Now, what's interesting about that ghost that I just fought is he is following me around with a flashlight, which is identical to the Spirit Stone flashlight that the police officer, the detective, carries. Okay, cool. Oh, right. I bet I'm gonna have to deal with the artist at some point here. Okay, so that's my starting point. Really? Like, can you elaborate on that? I'm curious. Oh, okay. The white ones move. So, what is... Okay. Alright, I see. But no, we have to get everybody going along. Huh. Let's see. It is B A D A. Hold on. The sound design of this is so good. I'm hearing sounds through the headphones, and I'm not sure if it's in my actual environment or if it's it's in the game. I think it's in the game. Oh man. Okay. All right. I swear to God, that's in my actual environment. But I only hear it when the headphones are on. So one would think that that would automatically mean that it's in the headphones, but Sometimes I find that just with my hearing, there are certain frequencies that will drown out other sounds that might be audible to others. So if I have something that suppresses a certain set of frequencies, I will hear something that's in the environment that is just being drowned out by it. So part of me's wondering if like the headphones are canceling out those frequencies and now I can just hear them. I'm spooked too. It probably means a cat. All right, let's. Here we go. Okay. There we go. Creepypastas are, oh no. Oh, weird. Yeah, creepypastas I tend not to do very well with. Horror things in general, I have to be very deliberate about dosing it out because it will stick with me. Okay. So I have my camera in this world. There's a little sailor boy doll with a navy hat and kerchief. One of the traditional dolls, teddy bear. Cool. I feel like looking around in first person is inviting a jump scare. Evening, Space Hamlet. Glad to see you. I was thinking about you the other day because we need to discuss and plan for the next Deltahead podcast. Even though time and attention have wandered a little bit, it is still very much on my mind. And yeah, I'm glad to see you. Today I played in the garden again, and because it's by the workshop, I heard a grinding noise. I thought it was Father, but it wasn't. I mean, as far as the creepypasta go, like you could just like have that there. That's pretty evocative. I didn't get to see him after all. Father is always making masks. When Father doesn't stroke my head, I feel lonely. When he doesn't hug me, it's boring. I asked Mother when he'll be done working, but I didn't get an answer. And so her dad's a mask maker. Which, of course, feel like there is a Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse parody that goes something like Mask Maker, make me a mask. But I'm not the person to write that. Old textbooks and notebooks. See, okay, I can change my equipment, so this isn't just a scripted dream sequence. This is a place where I have all of my equipment. I feel like enough time has passed since I played Elden Ring that I think that it's sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Fermented, percolated, one or the other. The thoughts are better now than they were. Is this a cursed one? No, the cursed ones are just kind of like had their heads popping out of boxes and places. I'm also not getting the blue reticle change. Oh, weird. Yeah, I think that our approaches to it will be complementary because uh, uh, you have an attention to detail, and not to say the attention to detail negates a look at the game that focuses on the evocative rather than the sort of like narrative, like sort of like precisely narrative looks. But having a lighter touch on my end, I think will be a good complement. So we'll kind of like cover a wide variety of perspectives on it. In other words, you're a diehard and I'm a filthy casual. Okay. I just say, please disappear, ghost. This is getting awkward. Like, it probably isn't coming through at the volume of the stream, but there is a very, very faint heartbeat uh, going through uh, the audio. Sayaka's diary. I saw Ruka standing in the moonlit garden. I don't know what she was holding. She just stood there with a blank expression, muttering. Ruka seems frightened whenever she sees herself in a mirror. Before she blooms, I must consult Dr. Haibara. If I don't hurry, it'll be too late to see a doctor. I think Ruka may have had this problem for some time. Someday, when Ruka's cured, I'll see her smile. And that is what I appreciate about it. Creatively, in my experience, to hit the evocative mark, you actually have to have, in some cases, a much clearer idea on the back end of what's going on. And the irony is that if you want to maintain your effect of being evocative, even though you have some information that could decode what is hinted at in the game, if you share that information, you basically tank the aesthetic project. So the story can never be known, or at least never made explicit. He's put the mask on Ruka. Various masks were placed before the altar. Is this what caused Ruka to suffer from the disease? He's changed. The time he spends confined in his workshop increases daily. Oh, he's a mad scientist who uses his own child as an experimental subject. Except he makes ghost masks. And every time he returns from the workshop, I feel as though he isn't telling me something. His eyes have fallen deeply into shadow, and there is an increasing sense of darkness, but the strange, brilliant glow in his eyes only increases with each day that passes. While it seems contradictory, I do like the notion of the eyes falling into shadow and the sort of like circles deepening and darkening, and then the sort of like I don't know, incandescence coming from them. The color of irritation is visible in the words he speaks. Now, whatever he is pursuing, he won't talk to me about it. However, he is clearly completely dedicated to it, even obsessed. What is he going to do? When I think about it, my faith in him wavers. When all of this work is finished, will Suya come back? Perhaps he'll never return. Such thoughts have flashed through my mind. He is so different now from the Suya I knew. I have to keep Ruka away from him. Hold on. So yeah, mad scientist. Oh man, those giant kimonos are always so terrifying when you just sort of catch sight of them. These on the framework, several equally beautiful kimonos. So this black and white section is noticeably spare on audio, and I mean, you can't help but think like this is for deliberate effect, that it's building up to something, because even the atmospherics seem either at peace or tense, like either a great evil has not visited here and will soon, or that it is so much at home that the regular distress that signals, you know, a place burdened by evil is basically, it's just so normal now that that it doesn't even show any of those markers. Well, I mean, when you put it that way, it sounds obvious. Mask has been enshrined. Small memorial tablets are lined up on either side. How have you been, by the way? How was Election Day in New York? Everybody in Washington, especially in Seattle, are just like a bunch of introverts, so like mail-in and drop-off ballots is just like, it's like, mwah, chef's kiss. Perfectly matched to local character. So I haven't actually been to an actual polling station for any of the years that I've voted here. Okay. Now that is upstairs. Those are cats running around upstairs. Ah! Don't... I mean, I'm skeptical of myself because that wasn't even that frightening. Yeah, I was reading about that New York flipped a lot there. I do think this is interesting. The mad scientist sort of archetype dropped in here. Oh man, I'm back in the definitely gonna get attacked house, as opposed to the maybe get attacked house. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about New York politics. Whenever I read, the New York Times is one of the, and the Washington Post are the papers of record that I read regularly, and anytime the articles sort of move away from sort of like the national scene to the local, I'm just sort of befuddled and fascinated, honestly, to see New York talking about itself. But yeah, the general takeaway that I had from a lot of that is that the sort of like crime pushed a lot of votes rightward. Files. Records? Ghost list. A young girl playing the piano. A hidden wavelength in the melody seems to resurface lost memories. Wavelength is interesting. Sayaka viewing the courtyard. Long ago, with the devastating scene before her, a shadow crosses her anxious heart. I guess that means that this would have happened on the night of the big, sort of like, ritual disaster? Young Ruka standing in the garden, looking up at the moon. Her Luna Sedata syndrome emerges, and she wanders around outside, seeking the moonlight. It's also kind of reminds me, I don't know if this game uses this specific example, but what is it? The sort of like brain fungus that gets into an ant and makes the ant crawl into a public or visible place, so a bird eats it, and then it goes into the bird, then whatever eats the bird, it gets there, and then it's got its target host. It makes me think of that, going out into the moonlight. An image of Sayaka from the past. She is sitting in an old chair. She is considering what to do about her sickly daughter. Oh dear. No! Oh god, why would you? What is wrong with you? Okay. Okay, that didn't immediately turn out bad. Ruka's Diary 3. Is this my diary? No. No, I don't think so. I think that Borges is aesthetically up the alley. That I would take sort of like the use of evocation over explication. That rules. Actually, that right there, Dreambalm and I were discussing Silver Case and sort of like pseudo narrative techniques, and that sort of there's a sort of non sequitur quality there to that last line that I like very much. James Wright, the Midwestern American poet, does a lot of this too, where there will be a lot of gorgeous natural description or some sort of setting being described, and the last two lines of the poem are this sort of like hard right turn insight into something that's been percolating in the narrator's minds outside of the sort of like visible descriptions, or the concrete descriptions, and then it just sort of emerges, and it's very stunning and sort of shocking. And that is one of the things that I like about that ending, that it creates a context that you didn't know was there. Tomorrow is the day of the festival. I can see the masked dancing. I can't wait to go to the festival with everyone. But if I put on a mask, will I forget about everything again? The illness makes me lose my memories. I remember being sick, but the people who I can't meet... I remember being sick, but the people who I can't meet anymore, the people who have died, my father, they all disappear. If I try to remember, I start feeling scared, but if I don't remember, my father will disappear. The father I can remember will die. I'm scared. I'm scared of remembering, but please don't disappear. Box contains a mask. I took it out of the box and looked at it carefully. I faintly remembered something. This is... Okay, that is absolutely coming from upstairs. Awesome. Every time it does this close-up on my character's face, it's gonna do some hard skip, hard jump away. Or it is a perfect moment to get jumped. Kind of a shy guy looking mask. The day of the festival when I was kidnapped. It hurts to remember. Who was Sakuya? Was that her mother? Let me see here. Sayaka. For some reason I remember having just seen the name Sakuya, but the name there is Sayaka, and I'm wondering if I'm misreading something or just sort of like transposing letters. So I don't know what this key goes back to. Yeah, I'll do that. I have them in a folder around here. It's been a little bit since I've thought about it, so I'll need to find them. I'm really glad that I wrote them down because, excuse me. Remembering anything these days is, well, risky for accuracy. Alright, so items, key items. There are tiny sakura flowers carved into the key. It seems like a key for a diary or a small case. I don't rightly know what that could go to, unless there's something in the artist's room. Ah! You again? Who is that? Snooping patient's ghost. Standing in the moonlight, a little of his lost memory is restored, but sometimes remembering can destroy a person's mind. I love that. This, I think that this connects very well with what I just said. If I remembered something, it might destroy my mind. So write it down. I'm gonna hop out here and save my game. Unless I get attacked. Wow, look at that frame rate chunk. Okay. Nurse's note. Stagnant air flows through this hospital. I don't know if stagnant air can do that. Hospital staff dying in accidents, inpatients disappearing mysteriously. The sorrowful presence here suddenly began. Ever since that day, the behavior of the patients has become increasingly strange. The doctors and nurses are being crushed by the dismal atmosphere. After Tsubaki on the 3rd floor died, I have had to take charge of her duties there until new people can be hired. I had to take over. There was no one else. I maintained contact with the patient that left the hospital, the child that was kidnapped and found safely. When the child's room was cleaned, I found her mother's diary. The mother and child have left the island now, and they won't be coming back to get it soon. All it held was painful memories of the place on the island where they grew up. They may come back someday. Until that time, it's important to keep it safe. Evening, Swimmy. It's good to see you. Cool. I'm glad this. To a certain audience, that might sound pedantic, but not to me. God damn it. Cool. Yes, ghost horror games compromise the usually family-friendly language on this stream. But the diary, Ruka, I'm sorry. Hold on a second. I want to see. I think something just happened. I'm looking at the stream archive here, or the stream. Okay, cool. Never mind. I thought something flashed on the screen that in fact did not. Ruka, I'm sorry. I don't think that I can take it anymore. When I heard from the detective how you were found, everything I believed in collapsed with a noise. They say that the tunnel they found you in was connected to the elevator shaft in Haibara Hospital. I realized that putting you into that hospital and asking Dr. Haibara to cure you was nothing but a mistake. And when I heard what condition your clothes were in when you were found and what the tunnel was like, who would have thought that that person was involved? To imagine that that murderer was really involved in all this, then there really isn't any place that can offer us peace anymore. Mr. Kirishima said it was unreasonable to take me to the place where you were found, from the first floor Rugetsu Hall corridor crossing to Haibara Hospital. Oh, okay. So Kirishima is in Rugetsu Hall, which is a different location than Haibara Hospital, which is why he has the elevator in the place and I don't. Okay. In the basement of Haibara Hospital, there's no elevator button that goes further down than the first floor. That's where you were, against the old tunnel wall where the hospital's construction work was suspended, right under the moon reflection well. Only a thin light shines down from the dark of the well. The cold air from that place makes the body tremble uncontrollably. When I stood in that place, I could only cry. Back then, what happened to you? Why did your heart break? Your memories vanish. Dr. Katagiri said that even if your memory doesn't return, you are fortunate to have survived. For now, we must try not to upset the balance of your barely maintained mental state. From now on, maybe it's not impossible. It's weird because it's a diary entry, so, but it's midway between like a missive and something that's written for the writer, and it's a very dramatic thing to write to a child who is struggling. From now on, maybe it's not impossible for you to recover slowly and return to a normal life again, but you probably won't remember anything from before you lost your memory. Stands to reason. What reason do you have to remember when it would only break your heart? Just maybe there's a chance that you may bloom. It will be hard to lose our irreplaceable memories, but we need to forget about the things of the past, which you remembered what's happened to us. We should only look forward, holding hands tightly. From now on, only remember the good things. While I am sympathetic to the dramatic moments, it has a very Marge Simpson, no, let's never speak of this again, kind of energy to it. I don't want to die and have to do that jump scare again, so I'm going to save. So as I'm reading or understanding that that diary entry, I need to go underneath the moon pool, which means first floor basement, or rather first floor and then basement. First floors are not themselves basements. Unless it's kind of built into a mountain and it's one of those things. You know, where you enter... Okay. Where you enter, and it's the first floor on one side of the house, because it's lower on the mountain. And that turns out to be the basement from the other side of the house. Oh man, I better heal up. Wait a minute. No, my health is fine. That's not my health bar in the camera HUD. Oh crap. This is big skedaddle time. Go, 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 go! That's right, big skedaddle time. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yang, yang, yang. Oh wait, no, there's Rugetsu Hall. Okay, so this whole thing, I'm in Rugetsu Hall, I'm not in Haibara Hospital. I'm confused. But I do know that I gotta get down to the basement. And I wonder if it's like a really bad idea to go back out this way. It's like a stalker situation? Or is this like this room just cursed? Save lamp seems legit. Okay. Alright, so maybe it was just a set piece. Kinda wanna save... I always save my very first save file, and I never overwrite it. This seems like it's fair game for a backup. Actually, how am I doing on supplies? 7 herbal medicine. Now 6. Sacred water, stone mirror, 14 film, thick 61 film, blue crystal, red crystal. Let me see if I can buy some type 61 film. I can, and I will. I feel prepared for a boss fight. Suddenly feeling real uncomfortable about where I'm going. Just like that door has got really bad idea. Just like all over it. But I think it's where I have to go. The blow power-up lens. Oh. That's cool. I don't remember that being open last time I was here. Okay, so what did I just get? Consumes all your spirit power and deals a blow relative to the power consumed. Oh, I see. Oh god, I really don't want to do this. I have. Hanabi is one of my favorites. I actually recommended that to somebody who I was sharing Ah! Oh, I'm getting the hell out of here. Yo, dude, loading! Oh, crap. Yeah, Hanabi is a favorite. I was, sharing kind of like, if you want like a primer of like, what I think is like really good, like Japanese cinema, it's, some Kurosawa films and some Beat Takeshi films. Those are the ones that I would take on a desert island. Also Harakiri, which is, I think, probably the best sort of Jidaigeki samurai Chanbara drama out of all of them. It's my favorite. Moonstruck. I want to say, is that like actually Moonstruck could double as a secondary title for this game, given the plot. Is that? I'm thinking of Moonlighting, the 80s sitcom starring Bruce Willis before he became like a big action hero. What is Moonstruck? Woo! This guy's aggressive. And he's following me. Ha! Okay. Oh. Is this a fight I'm supposed to tackle? Get him. Okay, I have enough spiritual power to use whatever lens I've got here. Ah! Whew, I think I might come close to using that stone mirror. Oh, interesting. So it's the same era, roughly then, right? Sort of 90s? It sounds like when I hear the title, when I read the title, in my mind, I see the cover of a VHS box that I would idly be reading and sort of like sifting through at a grocery store while waiting for my mom to finish groceries, because back then, you know, grocery stores had VHS and game rental stuff. Anyway, that's the tactile experience that comes to mind when I read that title. So I'm thinking 90s. Oh, Brothers is good. Brothers is good. Hanabi and Dolls is very good. I found that doll's very touching, and Kid's Return is kind of this middle ground between his sort of like, you know, sort of like tough guy style movies plus his reflective stuff. It's a little, it kind of leans a little more in the tough guys area than Hanabi. And Kikujiro is also very good. Kikujiro is a favorite. Brothers, yeah, it's one of the reasons why I haven't really gotten into anything past. I watched Outrage, and I'm like, I don't. Not my thing. Ah! Get him! Yeah! Woo! Oh. I'm gonna buy a lot of healing items to save my game. Something fell where the ghost was standing. Yeah, Kitano's he has a really good emotional range that is feels like it's in the same area of nostalgia, but it's expressing more than I think nostalgia on its own can. So it's yeah. Yeah, I like it. I like that aspect of his. There was what was it? It's a more recent one. All Hail the Movie Director or something. It's much more explicitly comedic film. It's sort of sketch comedy with some through lines, and it has some excellent skits in it. Some of them are very, very funny. I'd say I probably really enjoyed like a third of it. That third of it is worth going through the other 2/3, which was kind of like, well, okay. The Morning Shrine is a shrine for the dead. It is feared that the faces of the dead can change and bloom after death. When the dead come into contact with blooming, one must cut off their face, the seed, and destroy it. Wow, that's a hell of a sentence. Then the dead shall wear a mask resembling themselves to preserve their face. The mask replacing the dead face, the mask becoming the dead face, the dead becoming the mask. Whoever enters the morning shrine will find their heart troubled and begin to bud. Only those who have been purified and whom the moon shines upon shall enter the morning shrine. But know that entering the morning shrine on the night of the full moon is forbidden. This character diary rules. This is like my favorite out of them so far. I'm not familiar with Matsumoto. Do you have a title that I might recognize? Or just a title. I have no idea why you would know whether or not I would recognize it. Oh. Interesting. No, that sounds like a that sounds like a cool thing to jump onto next when I go to the video store. I have 2 rented now that I missed watching last week. One of them is it's a Kurosawa movie starring the usual cast of sort of like around the time he really started to collaborate with Mifune in a serious way, or a consistent way, I should say. It was always serious. So it's a I don't know if calling it a medical drama it does it justice, but it is set in a medical setting. And so there's that, and also a Kinshi Fukusaku crime movie, which those are always fun. His style of doing fights is a favorite, because it's always a lot of very shaky camera work, a lot of inelegant choreography, very rough and tumble. You know, you think of somebody getting thrown over a counter in a bar fight, and I think in the mind there is even a sort of grace to even that, but in Fukusaku's fights, that grace isn't there. It's just, there's no dignity left to anyone. And he actually has, I don't remember if it's just called Chushingura, but he has a version of the 47 Ronin story, which has a few fight scenes in it. And it's really a great contrast to a lot of the other Chushingura sort of like renditions, because a lot of them focus, understandably given the story, on the you know, the sort of like the honor and the etiquette of these confrontations. And Fukusaku just like throws that completely out of the window. It's like a samurai fight that's basically a bar brawl, and they have all the trappings of your usual sort of like Chanbara sort of fight. It's just, but it's just a bunch of dudes punching and wrestling. Evening, Dan. It's good to see you. No, it's not Redbeard. It's Redbeard was a little bit later, I think. Actually, I kind of think that Redbeard was like the last one that he and Mifune collaborated on. But I don't remember if that's for sure. High and Low is great. Pink Smoke. Remind me of that set piece. It's been about a year and a half since I've watched High and Low, so some of the finer points escape me. I remember the train scene and throwing the money out the window on the train. That was very good, and a lot of the pacing around and trying to make decisions in the guy's apartment. I remember enjoying all that. It was very cool. Oh, I see someone up there, ghosting it up. How are you, Dan? It's good to see you. I want to say it's something titled like The Noble Battle or something, or it's not. Oh, boost. Huh. That seems like something that I should remember, given that it was a break in the overall format. What? Did that just get me the boost? Weird. Guess that's all this was for. For now, anyway. Kikujiro is one that I would really enjoy watching again. So even though Kitano like sort of he likes to inhabit sort of like this tough guy character in most of his stuff, Kikujiro is great because he inhabits that and also takes the wind out of the character type. It's very fun. Yeah, I'm anticipating losing the house. The red wave. My reason was telling me that it would not happen. My dread and anxiety was saying, "Are you sure?" Yeah, I'm still in a place of admitted anxiety over the outcome of these elections. Oh, that's cool. I would love to see. I've to date only watched Japanese cinema in the comfort of my own home. It occurs to me now that maybe that ghost who appeared here was pushing me in this direction, which means that probably success lies over here. Uh, uh, Konnichiwa? Oh, Satoshi Kon. I'm sorry. Yeah, you literally said that right above the line right above that. This is where I got jumped before while watching a film. Yeah, I was recommending Tokyo Olympiad to somebody recently. They said that they did not like documentaries and they did not like sports films, and I'm like, oh, buddy, this is gonna give you something that you don't expect. This is really good. I have not heard of Equinox Flower. Is that one of the sort of like domestic dramas? I seem to when I hear the name Ozu, I seem to I think of like long, still, emotionally charged shots. Is that a doll up there? It is not. Yeah, that's right. That's another. If you have that sort of like that background and in having watched some of those older sort of foundational directors of 20th century sort of Japanese cinema, glory to the filmmaker, I think that's what it is. He plays with a lot of that in terms of like what the jokes are for the skits. There's also a pro wrestling skit which is just gorgeous. I recorded it, snipped it. I've watched it so many times. It is great pro wrestling choreography, and the gag and the punchline in it is just choice. That's interesting. Yeah, uh, it's always really fascinating to see directors who work primarily in black and white. Is that phone ringing? It is not. Kind of like seeing like, what do you do with color now that you have the option? Evening, Mahafun. It's good to see you. Appropriately, we were just discussing Japanese cinema. Not uncommon for the stream. Interesting. Tokyo Fist. I have not heard of that, but am intrigued. I also don't know where the hell I'm going. I thought I did, but I appear to be wrong. Actually, I do know where I'm going, which is to take a short break. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. And while I was out there, I went and grabbed the Fukusaku one that I mentioned. The title on this is great, the translation. Outlaw Killers, the Three Mad Dog Brothers. And I have no idea what it's about. It has, I forget the name of the guy, the actor. He is to Fukusaku's, like, crime stuff that, what Mifune was to, Kurosawa's samurai stuff. So they've got really good working chemistry there. But yeah, it sounds like it's kind of like one of these, like, you know, the criminal who goes after criminals, this sort of thing, and I'm a sucker for that motif. Oh, Tetsuo the Iron Man. I watched some of that, and it got a little too body horror-y for me. Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't deal with that very well, so unfortunately, I know it's a classic, right? But I just couldn't make it through it. Yeah. Yeah, Swimmy, I think that makes perfect sense. No, body horror movies just can't do it. It just sticks with me. Like, I think when I see it, like, I empathetically feel it viscerally in a way that I don't feel other kinds of horror, and so it's kind of like physically carry it around with me, and it's just very, very unpleasant. Which I mean, it's the sort of thing that if I have some preparation for, I can kind of just sort of put myself in an emotionally distanced state to go through. But Tetsuo the Iron Man sort of is very heavy on it, so it's kind of such a big part of the experience that I just wasn't able to work through it. Really? Like, in your environment, or just sort of like feeling it evoked? Okay. See this most recent note and see if this gives me a hint. Okay, so this is the one. In the basement of Haibara Hospital, there's no elevator button that goes down further down than the first floor. So the basement of Haibara Hospital is where I need to go. I'm in Rugetsu Hall. So how do I get there? Oh no, I'm very sorry to hear that. Very sorry to hear that. That's rough. This is another reason why my wife has a much stronger stomach for looking at medical things online. I have difficulty with that as well. So, okay, I gotta get to the basement. Let's go down one. I showed up here. I got chased by the one-hit kills you ghost into here. Fled through here. Then here, is this a door? Hall to old access way. Maybe that's where I need to go, and the basement was not the right place. Okay, let's go back downstairs. Yeah, it's not the same thing at all, but in that same neighborhood of having something normal, sort of like presented to you in a distressing way by pop media. I find that the portrayal of children in a lot of sort of like genre fiction and, you know, supernatural stuff, horror stuff, they just make children out to be very creepy entities on their own, and it's very weird because children are so normal. They're such normal things in this world, and to sort of like have them very broadly in these genres described as creatures of weirdly creepy creatures is very strange to me. But again, I'm really sorry that you're going through that. That really sucks. Not just for the physical sensation, but for the psychological and perceptual as well. I am intrigued. I am open to it. Yeah, no. Other Southeast Asian cinemas are certainly not off limits. Japanese is the one that I have the most sort of personal context for, just given work and games and that sort of thing. But it's all fascinating to me. I really like getting outside of the really getting outside of American cinema. Okay, here we are, finally. Okay, so I wasn't too far off. But now, somewhat hatefully, I actually have to interact with that hole in some way that I'm sure is going to result in something jumping out at me. Kingdom. Oh. Free sparkly. Can I examine? There we go. Oh, how about that? I feel like the get jumped when you're picking up an item meter, it has invisibly filled, and I'm waiting for it to result in a hand grabbing me when I reach for an object. That definitely gives them an advantage, doesn't it? Ah! Go, 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 go! I'm going to rub my lucky save lamp. For please don't kill me, good luck. But I want to see what the name of that ghost is. In an attempt to get herself removed from the madness of the hospital night shift, Nurse Tsubaki Tono hid inside the management office. A woman's shadow, upon seeing her, gives one a terrible sensation. The atmosphere created as she emerges from the building is suffocating. I think the only watching that I've found time for or made time for lately, either watching I want to call them reruns of The Simpsons, but they're not reruns because they're not running, they're just streaming, of streaming seasons 1 through 10 of The Simpsons again, rewatching the entirety of Mr. Show for like the 50th time, and watching The Peripheral, which I'm enjoying quite a lot. It is a book. It is a book that I enjoyed greatly, and I'm liking getting to. Oh God. Physically, I don't understand how this interaction works. Because it's a hole, and it goes down into a deep, dark place, and I don't understand how I could have grabbed something from it. Thank you, nurse, for not attacking me yet. Wiggly woman. Interesting. I will add that to my list. And the list is not a fixed order of... Ah! Jesus Christ! Lady! Okay, I said thank you for not attacking me yet, but now I take it back. Get him. All right. Who was that nurse? Who are any of the nurses? They're all ghosts. They want to kill me. There is no change today. She's still unconscious sleeping. I'm afraid. Is she still alive in this state? I looked at her cardiovascular and EEG data, which were in the doctor's desk. She's still alive behind that door, that's for certain. But if you look at little things in the numerical data, she may as well not be. Sometimes I can't help feeling like her eyes have opened. In my mind, I know it will be a blessing if this patient recovers. Even so, my heart trembles with uneasiness. When she opens her eyes and opens that door, I know the world will collapse. That's rad. That sentiment is really creepy and evokes quite a lot. Oh, God, I gotta go back upstairs to the artist's room. Alright, I'm gonna get jump scared, I'm sure. You know, I feel as if, like, if I can, like, call it and anticipate it, it won't be as bad, but that it never works out that way. Okay. She did say just like the painting. Oh wait, no, I have an access key. Let's, oh, excuse me. Anticipated emergence. I mean, there's still value in that. Good night, Dream Bomb. It's great to see you, as always. I hope you have a great night. Better for the heart, maybe. Ever since becoming a father, I have greatly prioritized the quality of my child's food over my own, and have become slightly concerned that the volume of just like cheese and carbohydrates that I eat on the regular basis, far more in the past like couple of years than I typically have eaten, and to be perfectly frank, it was never a small amount to begin with. Yeah, so the cardiovascular consequences of that concern me. Rogetsu carvings. This item is probably part of the island's heritage. It's like all of my attention now goes to improving the quality of his life, and the quality of my own food is forfeit. I know it's not an either-or proposition, but that's just the way it's turned out. Right? One of the great pleasures of moving. Ah, no, 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 no! I don't want to see what it is! I want to go! Run, run, run! Switch film. Pincher attack. But yeah, so moving here, I didn't really have access to Whole Foods where I moved from, and moving here, I was fascinated to find that that the Whole Foods stores have a basically a leftover cheese bits bin where for like $1 you can get, you know, maybe like a snack's worth of whatever random cheese they just had a little bit left over from. And yeah, you could just go and like pick up a handful. It's like grabbing Halloween candy of shrink wrapped cheeses. And yeah, just try whatever's there, and then forget the name so you can never experience it again. All right, here we go. Charge up. Run, 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 run! Ah! Run, go, go, go! Boop! Ah! Woo! Man, alright. Yes, I too would, I mean, I can just imagine, you know, looking down in the cheese bin and then just seeing a face emerge from it. That's, damn, the cheese ghost. This cheese aged so well to death. That's such a low quality joke. There's a cracked decorative Pranya Pranya. I don't even know how that, if I'm putting that J in the right place. Paramita mask. I want to look that up after the stream. The power of Bree compels you. I'm going to say that if I were in this environment, the last thing that I would ever expect to be called to think about is the word bream. Mask is decorated like a demon. Seems to be accompanied by a note which reads Kagura mask. Ritual or hidden ceremony? Well, we have a lot of evidence that something like that probably is up. Has an unusual length and it sports a wide mouth. Oh, thank you so much for that context. I struggle reading Indian words that I'm not already familiar with, just like, well, out of a familiar context. So, thank you for the analog. What appears to be a Daruma doll with a distorted face is on display. One of its eyes is open and it reflects the flashlight's beam. Ooh, creepy. There's a kid's book that I have that is very charming. It's the Daruma-san book series. I think the first one is the Daruma-san ga, which has for every syllable, like for Daruma-san ga, he's doing like a little dance for each syllable, and then the next page is followed by him doing something, because it's kind of a way of illustrating what ga does. And the next one, which should be arriving this week, is Daruma-san no, which is teaching possessives, and I'm very curious to see what that is like. But yeah, it's very cute. It's very well drawn. Something I've noticed about Japanese children's books that is different from a lot of the American children's books is that the backgrounds tend to be completely blank. The characters will be on there, but there's a much more abstract quality. There's less interest in placing the characters or the action in a representative environment. And the Shiro Kuma-chan books do that, where it's just the drawings on a plain white paper background. So it's really interesting. I would have thought it were I would have thought that it was stylized of like a particular writer's style, but it shows up consistently. Oh, hey, it's Haibara Hospital. Like, I like that they know that I've been through a lot of these places before with the detective, So they're just like, okay, so don't worry about everything else that you know, just go here, 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 there, you're done. Always touch the lucky lamp. Having read more children's books in the past couple of years than I have in a very long time, I've also noticed something that... Oh man, am I gonna have to go down there with that? The answer is certainly yes. This is also true about kids' cartoons that seem to be released now, as opposed to the kids' cartoons that I remember when I was younger. Just kids' media seem to involve a lot more grumpiness and a lot more bickering. Yeah, the families that show up in like a lot of Maurice Sendak stuff are just they have quarrels, they gripe, and they snipe at each other. They love each other, but it's like daily life, right? Where you're just where the odds are that somebody's going to be having a grumpy day. And a lot of the stories now are sort of like much more. They show less of that. It's much more happiness and getting along. And I'm like, this is not a reality. This is not the way that the average day goes. Hey, there's that dude with the helmet that I just photographed to death. Oh, is this the other side of that door that the detective... I seem to think... Okay, the detective's story ended... A chapter ended here. Okay, cool. I was expecting a jump there. Oh, that moon is waning. Right, waning is the one that means it's getting smaller. Really? I have not been out there because it is cold as hell tonight. Yes, back to Kirishima. Shoshiro Kirishima, a private detective, awakens. He finds himself in front of Haibara Hospital. Kirishima remembers that he was asked by Ruka's mother, Sayaka, to help Ruka, who has come to the island. 10 years ago, in the case of 5 girls being kidnapped on the island, he had rescued Ruka at her behest. Searching for Ruka, Kirishima stands before the hospital and sees the form of Yo Haibara, a murder suspect he had been chasing on the mainland. Yo was the son of Shigeto Haibara, the director of Haibara Hospital, and a man of power on the island. Yo Haibara was clearly connected to the incident in which a group of girls were kidnapped and later discovered in the basement of the hospital. However, at that time, Yo Haibara couldn't be found, and so he escaped. After Kirishima left his job as a detective, he continued to chase Yo Haibara. Maybe Ruka's also... Kirishima thinks this is related to the kidnapping incident 10 years ago and returns to where he discovered the 5 girls, including Ruka. Wasn't there 2019, I think it was, there was a, what was it, Blood Wolf Moon? It sounds like something that my D&D friends would have had a t-shirt of in high school. It's a very, very, very dramatic, lovely moon that would have been a few years ago. So that looks like that's the artist's room. Ruka isn't here. Didn't the elevator bell go off? Yeah, no, back when I was more engaged in star watching and used a telescope to kind of look at things, I was just fascinated by the fact that like stuff is going on all the time, and now I'm one of the folks that I marveled at who didn't spend so many nights out there looking at it, and I forget how much goes on up there. Handbook. Dwarvish on Demand? Oh wow. This is quite a lot. Let's see. What time is it now? It's 11:21. What might be cool, since it's a little far along to start his chapter in a meaningful way, I might fire up the silver case that came today and just kind of take a look at what the intro of that looks like on stream. That could be a cool way to wrap this up. So, give me 1 second. Pull out Clock Tower 2. The design on this, the CD case, CD front it's lovely. I like the detail. That's cool also. Let's see. Yeah, I do too. The whole package is awesome. So many of the Japanese editions of these games that I've ordered for and gotten to my collection, all of them still have the original, even the little what do you call it? Not subscription things, but I'm blanking on the name of this thing, what this thing is. The thing where they're trying to figure out what their audience is and who's buying the games. Anyway, they all still have those in here, and that's pretty rad. Really, really cements the time capsule feeling. Yes, that is my experience as well. All right, hold on a sec. There we go. Okay, let's pull you down here. It's good. Everything is basically connected for this. So I've played the remaster on this several times, so I'm super curious what the Super curious what the original looks like. So, yeah, what's interesting about watching the intro is that, so like having watched this several times already, like they clearly pulled the video file from this and stuck it in the remaster. But it always stands out a little weird because the resolution on the video file is not what the remaster's resolution is. So seeing this like, match the resolution of the hardware and the presentation feels good. Love this. Yeah, Space Hamlet. The soundtrack to this game, even though it's got sort of like a hard-boiled supernatural noir edge to it, the soundtrack has moments of surprising gentleness that sort of like mixes in with the high energy of. I think Masafune Takada did the soundtrack to this, but I don't remember exactly. I don't know if he was like on board as like the Grasshopper synth composer then. But anyway, it mixes the high energy stuff with some gentler feelings, which I think is very interesting. And yeah, Mahafun, Dream Bomb was on stream in stream chat earlier this evening, saying that the Flower, Sun, and Rain soundtrack is actually different on the PS2 version than on the DS port. And I assumed that the DS port was fairly direct, so I'm really curious. Really curious to hear that. Oh man, that sounds so good. It's amazing. No, yeah, the gun, the attention they give to the guns is interesting because, I mean, you don't really do a lot of shooting, if any, in this game. Wait, what? It's different. Like, the shake pattern is different. I wonder how many variations that has. So this this particular intro is not with the remaster. Yeah, Mahafun, that was in Persona 4. I think there was a moment where Dachi, the guy who was like turned out to be a bad cop, mentioned that the only reason that he became a cop was so he could use a gun, and I'm like, oh right, they've got much better gun control than we do here. So it's not just something you would have access to as a civilian. Oh, wild! So if you press start, when it starts to fray apart, it zooms and snaps back together, and then you can press start to move forward. That's cool. It's interesting. So something that I've noticed on the remaster is when enough text that I assume is pulling from the same source. You know, every time that the screen sort of wipes up, it's resetting something. The longer the text goes on, the choppier it gets. Like it's like got a really small amount of memory that it's working with for just that text, and it starts to chug. Now we're gonna at least watch Kusabi nearly eat a bullet, and we could probably do forest. Although, what time is it? Oh wait, this is kind of gruesome, I think. I think that person there is holding a human head. Like, this is impressive because it's one of the very few times in the whole of Kusabi's arc that he genuinely seems surprised that he missed death by like an inch, like the breadth of an inch. see. Now, it's 11:34. I should probably call it a night. I have some things I need to do before I hit the bed. But, yeah, Space Hamlet, if you're interested in this, we could stream some Silver Case. It's a favorite, so it could be fun. But thank you everybody for coming out, and it's been a blast as always. Yeah, no, the style is just it speaks to me. This is my language. Yeah, gonna keep chugging along with Fatal Frame 4 on Wednesday of next week, and hope to see you all then. Always, thank you for coming out. It is a highlight of my week to see you all. So, have a good night.